I'm often asked, what are the best foods to eat when I'm in perimenopause? And the truth is, it's about eating a balanced diet, but a lot of people don't know what that means. And so I always like to bring it back down to that at every meal, we need to have a representation of each of the three macronutrients: protein, fats, and carbohydrates. And the difficulty is that it can be really confusing as to what's what. So our proteins, these would be our meats, our fish, our eggs. It would be protein powders. If you're a vegetarian or vegan, things like tofu. Although if you think of estrogen dominant, tofu can cause a bit of a problem. So I'll definitely be looking at a good protein powder to make sure that you can pimp out all your food. We then want to be looking at our fats. This would be cheeses, it would be our nuts, it would be all of our olive oil, it would be our really good fats. All of these things are so essential because fat is how we actually make our hormones, and it's the drop off of hormones that causes the problem in peri to post-menopause. And then thirdly, we come to the carbohydrates. There's a couple of kinds of carbs, and this is where it can get confusing. The first group of carbs are our starchy carbs, and I like to break those into whole foods and then the processed food, because starches just mean sugar. So our starches would be all the things like our lovely fruits, it would be our root veg, it would also be then on the processed side, it would be all our cakes and our biscuits, things like that. It could be our bread, and it could be things like alcohol. So we want to make sure that we get one starchy carb per meal, but we want to make sure it's the right kind of starchy carb. Like, don't be going for the processed stuff, and don't be having your grains and your starches plus alcohol. Make a choice and then allow yourself to have the non-starchy carbs, which are all our lovely greens. So that really, there is no magic trick. It's just making sure that every time we eat, we have our protein, we have our fats, we have our one starch, and we have our greens with it. If you want to know more about how to eat in this kind of balanced way, I recommend going to my website. The link is in the post below, and you can actually look up the PFC food strategy that I'm talking about here.